Hello, and welcome to another episode of Xact Hacks, brought to you by Actionable Insights. My name is Seth Harrison, and today I want to talk about formatting and presenting estimates. Too often, the value of formatting, organizing, and presenting an estimate is overlooked. Contractors and adjusters slap together their estimates as fast as they can due to volume purposes without organizing them, without bolded headers, without putting them line items in order of how they would actually be executed in real life. This ultimately makes it harder to read, harder to approve. You're increasing cycle times. The work's not getting done. No one's getting paid. So what we have found is that what we teach in our classes when it comes to formatting and presenting estimates works. The contractors that use the format and presentation that we teach ultimately have their estimates approved faster, get their work done, and get paid faster. Adjusters that read the estimates that the contractors that we work with write generally like them. They know that it's different. It stands out. It's a brand in and of itself. So we felt it was important to do an Xact Hack video about how we and Actionable Insights teach formatting and presenting estimates. First and foremost, let's go to this is what normal estimates look like. The average estimator or adjuster is throwing in a bunch of line items, not even in order necessarily, but for example, we have extraction of water, then air move, or then you tearing out carpet, the dehue. This is an estimate. All of these activities were likely done, but it doesn't, it clearly explain in what order, how it was done. I have to jump back and forth between activities, equipment, things along those lines. So it's not ideal. It's going to be there's going to be questions involved. As you can see, the line items aren't sequenced, so it's just a bit of a mess. So what we are teaching is something that looks more like this: bolded headers. On the repair side, things are working from inside out, which we'll get into in a bit. So this is what we're going to be looking for, and let me show you how to organize and format and present in this format. We're going to start up here, and in order to get those bolded headers, we're gonna click the note here, and the first thing we're gonna do is unclick attach to previous note, and I'm gonna write general conditions as part of the emergency service call. Now, first and foremost, I'm gonna bold it here. You're gonna note when I close this, it does separate as its own independent line item, but it does not bold externally within Xactimate. If I were to print a report, in that report it would be bolded, but as is right here, it is not bolded. So you actually have to bold this one yourself. You can right-click on the line item and go down to Line Edit Options and hit Bold. So now I have a bolded space here. Now this is a different activity. This is actually hauling debris. It's not a general condition. It's part of the job. So I'm going to add and unclick right here again, hauling activities. So this is its own bolded header section of these line items. So all of the hauling activities that I would have would go in here, and all of the general conditions that I would have would go in here. Note that we're using these carets here to denote that this is a header. This is a separate category, separate area. If you don't use the header and you have a lot of notes involved, sometimes they can get lost in there and just looks like a capitalized sentence in a area. So we use these carets to denote that this is an actual header of a new section. So again, I'm going to right click and go down to Line Edit Options and hit Bold. Now, sometimes this can get a little confusing still. So we occasionally like to add spaces in between to really delineate this. And this is a hard one to figure out, because if I just do this and hit space, it's not going to add a note. Again, I'll do that. I unclicked, I hit space, and I hit close. It doesn't do anything. So how can I add just a space in between there so that it actually shows up in Xactimate and in the reports that I print? The way to do that is to, again, unclick attach. I'm going to put in a period, and I'm going to close it. And you're going to see the little period. Now, you can just leave that there as is. It's a little period. It won't show up. It's not a big deal. But if you want to do it the way that we teach to do it, you can then delete this period after reopening the note, hit space, and hit close. Now I have a space here, actually involved in between these. And if I were to look at the report, there would be a space in between these two sections, clearly delineated, totally obvious, very organized, very presentable. So that is how you do the bolded headers and the spaces in general. So let's look at mitigation real quick. First and foremost, when you're working in mitigation and the order that you want your line items to be in, it should be outside in. In this case, we're going to have water extraction, then we're going to have the carpet removed, then we'll have the pad removed, Then we have antimicrobial. Then we have equipment involved. So you're showing up, you're extracting water, you're pulling the carpet, you're pulling the pad, you're antimicrobial, you're setting your equipment. Boom, that was the order in which these activities were actually executed. Mitigation should be written outside in. To give you just a quick idea of what this would look like, extraction activities. I'm going to abbreviate for the purposes of this. Boom, extraction activities, and then you would do the next one, demo activities. I'm not doing any of the bolding or spaces right now, just for longevity or shortened purposes. There's some demo activities, and then here we would have anti-mic activities, and so on and so on. So then it's organized, separated, different, as you can see there. Just for posterity's sake, I'm going to put that caret in there. So mitigation outside in with bolded headers, spaces, etc. Then you have your repair. Repair is the opposite. You're working from the inside out. So in an example of a loss in the headers that we're using here, we would work with electrical first, inside the walls, then the plumbing that might be involved. Then we're going to be doing insulation activities, then the drywall activities, then the trim activities, then the paint activities, then flooring activities, etc., etc. So on repair side, you're always going to be working inside out. Now the last thing, and some people might say the most important thing, as you can see, a lot of these line items are out of order, or they're not exactly in numeral order. So we got to make sure that you go up here to the print and you hit the resequence line items so that it all comes together. Just so you have an idea of what this looks like when the report is printed, here's that repair room of what that would look like. Electrical activities, boom, clearly denoted. Here's all the electrical activities. Here's a bolded header with a space in between them. There's some plumbing activities, angle stop and supply line. Space, bolded, new header. This is much easier to read. It's going to be easier to approve. It's going to be faster to get work. If you would like to see more examples of what Actionable Insight teaches, you can come to our website at getinsights.org, come down to the sponsor a student section and hit 3D training modules. And there is examples of the scopes that we're teaching in our classes. These are the denoted headers, bolded spaces, etc. This has been formatting and presenting estimates. I hope you find a lot of value in this. I know it takes a little extra time to format and present estimates in this fashion, but ultimately it's a brand that will get recognized. There's value in it, and I hope you enjoy it. Please like, share, and subscribe. Next week there will be another Xact Hacks released every Thursday, so I will see you then.